Meghan Markle's sickest stunt yet. This weekend, she decided to invoke the memory of dead Princess Diana in a deliberate attempt to terrorize her long-suffering husband, Prince Harry.
Again, I have to be careful what I say, but
Prince Harry just exploded, and this time, there isn't a single palace wall thick enough to contain it. Everyone's whispering, everyone's stunned, because this wasn't just a little argument or a quiet disagreement. No, this was a full emotional eruption that's now shaking every corner of their world.
This is gross and grim and deranged on every level.
Witnesses say the moment Harry saw Meghan's new video, filmed just steps away from the very tunnel where his mother, Princess Diana, tragically lost her life, something inside him just broke completely. You could see it in his eyes. Whatever calm he had left vanished in an instant.
And she thinks that's a win, Brittany? No, we see you, Meghan. We see you, and now the world sees you.
There was no calm statement, no polite palace response, no carefully crafted silence this time. Just rage. Pure, unfiltered rage.
This is her in the car videoing herself with her legs up as she went past the tunnel in which Diana Spencer was so tragically killed in Paris.
Because for Harry, that tunnel isn't some symbol or a headline or a setting for a moment. That tunnel is the darkest night of his entire life. It's trauma, it's pain, it's loss. And suddenly, it was all right there in front of him again.
it's really quite sad.
Who does this? Who behaves like this?
And yet, there she was, Meghan, lounging casually in the back of a luxury car, feet propped up, camera rolling, cruising right past the site where Diana took her final breath. Can you imagine? It wasn't just insensitive, it was heartbreaking.
She was the villain.
How was she dangerous?
Because of the need for her to rehabilitate her image.
Then she posted it to social media, smiling, perfectly filtered, looking every bit the influencer.
Meghan is using everything for publicity.
Just another appallingly tone-deaf action.
Millions of people saw it. Some said it was tone-deaf, but for Harry, it wasn't tone-deaf. It was unforgivable.
But I have to just say, anyone who has doubted me over the past decade about this evil woman now needs to eat some humble pie, because this video designed to mentally torture her husband.
He stayed silent through years of criticism, through royal scandals, through public jabs. But insiders say this was different. This time, he didn't stay quiet. He confronted her directly, and he didn't hold anything back. According to someone close to the couple, Harry called her actions cruel, attention-seeking, and, most painfully, a betrayal of everything his mother ever stood for.
And she did this all after teaming up with the dodgy child scandal fashion brand Balenciaga during a bizarre trip to Paris.
The outburst apparently happened right after the Balenciaga show, caught off camera but witnessed by their stunned team. He accused her of turning tragedy into a prop, of using his mother's death as another headline to chase relevance. Those words cut through the luxury air of Paris like a knife. People who were there say it was chilling. The tension, the disbelief. Harry wasn't just angry, he was hurt.
If I know that this is a place that my husband hates because it's where he lost his mom, I'm not going to go there.
But that was just the beginning, because once they got behind the closed doors of their five-star suite, that private argument exploded into something even louder. Even the closest people in their circle couldn't contain it. Now everyone's asking the same question. Did Meghan just cross the final line, the one between ambition and desecration? What do you think? Did she know exactly what she was doing by filming near Diana's crash site? Or was it really just a terrible coincidence? The Paris flashbulbs, the applause. It was supposed to be Meghan Markle's big comeback, her shining moment after months of silence. The front row at Fashion Week, hand-picked by designers. Cameras fixated on her every move. The entire setup was flawless. Couture, celebrity, control. For Meghan, this was her stage. For Harry, it was supposed to be harmless. Just another public appearance, just another performance. The world saw a perfectly polished Meghan, smiling, glowing, reborn in the Paris spotlight. Paparazzi called her radiant. Her fans called it a comeback. Every step, every glance, every pose, it all looked deliberate. This was the Meghan brand in full motion. Her rebirth until that video dropped. Just a few seconds of footage, nothing fancy. A quick clip posted online like any influencer moment. Her feet up, phone in hand, gliding past the Pont de l'Alma tunnel. Yes, that tunnel. The place where Diana's car crashed that fateful night. Within hours, outrage exploded across social media. Comment sections became war zones. People called it disrespectful. Others said it was staged. Some went as far as to call it unforgivable. For those who still remember Diana's final moments, it felt like a violation, like turning sacred ground into Instagram content. And what made it even worse? The silence that followed. followed. No apology, no clarification, no explanation, just Meghan. Unbothered, smiling at the next event, acting as if nothing happened. But sources close to the couple say that silence wasn't ignorance, it was strategy. Behind those designer shades and practiced poses, Meghan wasn't ignoring the backlash. Oh no. She was feeding on it, because the louder the outrage grew, the more the cameras turned back toward her. The more attention she got, the more powerful she became. But here's where things start to fracture, because what looked like a careless influencer mistake might not have been a mistake at all. At first glance, the footage seemed random, just another fancy reel, right? But online investigators began dissecting every single frame, and what they found, shocking. The car's route wasn't random. It followed the exact same path Diana's car took that night. Same left turn toward the Pont de l'Alma underpass. Same timing. Same camera angles. Coincidence or choreography? Every timestamp, every shadow, every angle. It all told the same story. This was planned. And planned for what? For attention. It was precision dressed up as spontaneity, a setup crafted to spark outrage. And it worked. Fashion commentators tried to call it symbolic. Royal reporters called it sick. But what truly shattered the illusion was Harry's reaction. For years, he's defended Meghan through everything. The media storms, the family drama, the public criticism. But this time, he didn't. He just walked out. Witnesses say he refused to travel with her afterward. Insiders say the argument that followed wasn't even about the tunnel itself, it was about intent. Harry accused her of using his mother's death as currency, a way to stay relevant, and Meghan allegedly shot back with one cold sentence. "It's just a location, not your property." That line changed everything. Just hours later, she appeared front row at Balenciaga. Yes, the same brand still haunted by its child exploitation controversy. For a woman who's built her public image around protecting children, the hypocrisy was blinding. And when people questioned her, she said she was simply supporting a friend. Critics saw it differently. To them, it wasn't loyalty, it was selective morality. As one insider bluntly put it, every time her relevance fades, she reaches for something darker. People thought they'd seen attention-seeking before, but this was next level. Because this wasn't one misstep. It was a pattern, a strategy, and the cracks in their perfect image were starting to show. Insiders say this fight, this explosion, was the moment Harry finally saw what everyone else had been whispering about. The pattern, the manipulation, the cycle. They call it the rhythm of Meghan's fame. Shock, silence, spotlight. And at the center of it all, always, is her. Harry's friends say he's realizing that every scandal benefits one person more than the other. His pain becomes her publicity. His mother's memory becomes her aesthetic. His silence becomes her control. Behind the perfect smiles and soft lighting, the strategy is simple. Turn every backlash into buzz, every criticism into clicks. Even the Balenciaga appearance wasn't random. It was calculated. The controversy around the brand keeps people talking, and talking means attention. Attention means relevance. And for Meghan, relevance is everything. Charity luncheons, fashion events, carefully chosen media outlets that painted her as the misunderstood heroine. The message was clear. She wasn't stepping back. She was rewriting the story. For Meghan, control has never been about truth. It's about narrative. Behind palace walls and polished PR filters, her team whispered about containment and optics. For weeks, tabloids became her mirror. Every cover a carefully staged reflection. Every word rewritten to restore the Meghan myth. But Harry, he was nowhere to be found. Paparazzi caught him alone. Quiet dinners, lonely walks, shoulders heavier, eyes tired. He wasn't angry anymore. He just looked done. Those close to him said he finally realized the truth. Every apology he gives turns into another headline she owns. Every silence he keeps becomes another chapter in her narrative. And then came whispers of a new project being pitched to studios. A rebranding effort centered on resilience, motherhood, and misunderstood women. Sound familiar? It was the start of another cycle. New sympathy, new spotlight. Same silence from Harry. This wasn't healing, it was repetition. By design. Then came one of the harshest takedowns yet. Finally, one critic said, Meghan Markle turns up at Paris Fashion Week, fancying herself a budget Angelina Jolie, but without the talent or the teeth. She walks around like a catwalk model, but she's more like a cougar on the prowl, searching for her next big hit. It was brutal, but people nodded in agreement. The scandal didn't fade, it evolved, because in their world, silence isn't surrender, it's staging. And sometimes, the quiet after the storm isn't peace. It's the sound of someone plotting their next move. Every royal story begins with legacy, but this one refuses to end with it. For Harry, legacy isn't gold or grandeur. It's grief. It's his mother's face on every tabloid, her name whispered in every interview, her tragedy replayed for eternity. Now that same legacy has turned into a battlefield between love and spectacle. In private, Harry still talks about Diana, not as the people's princess, but as a woman who just wanted peace and never got it. And yet, every time Meghan wears her jewelry, quotes her interviews, or invokes her name, that wound opens again, but this time it's monetized, televised, hashtagged. She's walking around Paris, arms flowing, soaking up the attention, living for the flashbulbs, while critics online are practically begging, "Please, woman, go home, be with your kids." Find something meaningful, stop being desperate for attention. Observers in royal circles say admiration has turned into imitation. Meghan doesn't honor Diana, she replicates her. Not out of respect, but control. And that's what tears Harry apart. Because no matter what he does, the world still sees Diana's son, not Harry the man. Every headline drags him backward. Every scandal traps him in a past he never asked to relive. Meanwhile, Meghan seems untouched, still spinning her story, still talking about empowerment while standing on the ruins of another woman's legacy. It's not rebellion anymore, it's reinvention, on repeat. But every performance leaves another scar, not on her, on the history she keeps borrowing from. And that's the cruel irony. The same legacy that made them famous may also destroy them, because when you build your brand on borrowed pain, the echo always comes back louder. And this time, that echo sounds a lot like Diana. Then came the final blow. Royal insiders whispering that Harry and Meghan might lose their titles. They should, one said. What is she doing for the monarchy? Going to fashion shows in outfits that look like toilet paper? Please, maybe it was an accident, maybe it wasn't. But one thing's certain, nothing around this couple happens by chance anymore. For years, the world saw a fairy tale, a prince who escaped the palace, a woman who promised him freedom, but now all that's left is noise. Two people surrounded by flashbulbs trapped in a story they can't rewrite. Harry looks at the past and sees loss. Meghan looks at it and sees opportunity. And somewhere between those two visions, love quietly disappeared. The tunnel moment wasn't just bad judgment, it was the perfect metaphor for their reality. Tragedy turned into optics, grief turned into content. It showed us exactly who they've become. One chasing peace, the other chasing the camera that keeps the chaos alive. And maybe, just maybe, that's why Harry finally snapped. Because when every memory, every headline, every photograph becomes currency, there's one thing he can't protect anymore, his mother's memory. Maybe the world doesn't need another photo or another carefully worded statement. Maybe what it needs is honesty, something rarer than fame and far more dangerous to lose. So if you really want to see how deep this pattern of control and chaos goes, watch our previous investigation, where we expose Prince Harry and Meghan's public war of narratives. You're watching Star Spotlight, where the truth hides between the headlines.